Hello, English learners, and welcome to today's episode of our English Learning Podcast. I'm Adam, and I'm thrilled to have you here with us. If you're new to the podcast, we're here to help you improve your English with simple, practical lessons that you can use in real-life situations. Whether you're a beginner or an intermediate learner, we've got something for you.
That's right, Adam. And today we're talking about something that can completely transform the way you speak English. We're going to share with you 7 daily exercises to start thinking in English like a native speaker.
Thinking in English is the secret to fluency. If you've ever felt stuck translating words in your head before speaking, this episode is for you. By the end, you'll have practical exercises you can start today to train your brain to think directly in English, without translating.
So, grab your headphones, get comfortable, and let's dive in.
All right. Before we get into the 7 exercises, Sophia, I think it's really important that we talk about something that holds a lot of learners back, something that so many of our listeners might be struggling with right now. Why is thinking in English such a big deal? Why is it the key to fluency? I mean, people might be wondering, can't I just focus on learning more words or practicing grammar? Why does this shift in thinking matter so much?
That's such a good point, Adam. And honestly, this is something I wish I had understood earlier when I was learning my second language. Here's what happens to most learners. You learn new words, you practice grammar, but when it's time to speak, your brain hits a wall. You freeze. You start translating from your native language into English. So, for example, if you're thinking in Spanish, Hindi, or Arabic, you're trying to convert your thoughts into English words. And that's where the trouble starts. Your brain gets stuck between 2 languages. It's like having 2 apps open on your phone, and they're both trying to process the same task. Everything becomes slow and frustrating. That's why, even though you might know the words, they just don't come out fast enough when you speak.
Yes, and that's exactly what so many learners tell us. They say, I know what I want to say, but when I speak, it takes forever to form the sentence. That's because the translation step is slowing you down. You're trying to convert your thoughts from your native language into English, and your brain is working overtime to make it all fit together. But here's the thing. Native speakers don't do that. They don't have a translation app running in their heads. They think in English directly. So when they see a coffee cup, they don't think, taza de café. Oh, wait, that's coffee cup in English. They just think, coffee cup. It's instant. It's automatic. And that's the goal. That's what we want our listeners to aim for, thinking directly in English, so the words flow naturally when they speak.
Exactly, Adam. And when you start training your brain to think in English, you'll notice a huge difference. Your sentences will become faster, your words will come out more naturally, and the best part? You'll feel more confident. You won't be worried about mistakes all the time because your brain will be used to forming ideas in English. You'll speak with ease, just like you do in your native language. And let me tell you from personal experience, it feels amazing when that happens. It's like you unlock a new version of yourself and suddenly, English isn't this foreign thing anymore. It becomes part of you.
Oh, I love that, Sophia. Unlock a new version of yourself. That's powerful. So, to all our listeners, this is why thinking in English is the key to fluency. It's not just about knowing more words. It's about retraining your brain so that English becomes your default language when you think and speak. And guess what? You can train your brain to do that. It's not something you're born with. It's a skill you can develop. And that's exactly what we're going to show you in this episode. 7 powerful daily exercises that will help you think in English like a native speaker, starting today.
Yes. And these exercises are easy to do, but so effective. So stay with us because in the next chapter, we're diving into exercise number 1, and it's something you can do right now, wherever you are. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. All right, let's get into exercise number 1. And trust me, this is one of my favorites because it's so simple, yet so powerful. You don't need any books, you don't need to sit at a desk, and you don't even need Wi-Fi. You can do this anywhere, while walking to work, waiting for your coffee, or even just sitting in your living room. It's called Describe What You See Around You. And I know what you're thinking. That sounds too easy. How can that improve my English? But stay with us, because this little habit can transform the way your brain processes English.
Yes, exactly, Sophia. Look, we're not asking you to give a Shakespeare speech while walking down the street. It's much easier than that. Let's say you're on the bus and you look out the window. Instead of just sitting there, you start describing what you see, but in English. You think to yourself, I see a red car. There's a woman wearing a blue dress. The boy is playing with a soccer ball. Simple sentences. Nothing fancy. But here's the magic. When you start doing this every day, something incredible happens. Your brain starts switching to English automatically.
Yes, that's exactly it, Adam. And this is what I love about this exercise. It's effortless. You're not memorizing lists of words. You're training your brain to link the things you see directly to English words. There's no translation step. You see a red car, and you think red car. Not, car is coche in Spanish, and red is rojo. So, red car. No, skip that. When you describe things around you in English, your brain starts forming direct connections, objects to English words. And the more you do it, the faster these connections become. That's when you'll start noticing that when you speak, words come out more naturally, because your brain is already used to thinking in English.
And, Sophia, you know what's funny? When I started doing this exercise myself, I realized just how much time we waste with our minds on autopilot. Think about it. You're walking to the store or you're sitting on a train. What are you usually doing? Scrolling on your phone. Or maybe thinking about random things like what you'll eat for dinner. But imagine if every minute like that became a mini English lesson. No books, no classes, just you and your mind, describing your world in English. That's how fluency is built, in the small moments of your day.
Exactly, Adam. And you know what? To everyone listening right now, let's try it together. Look around you. Right now. What do you see? Maybe you're at home. You see a table, a cup of coffee, a window with sunlight coming in. Or maybe you're outside. You see a tree, a person walking a dog, a man wearing a black jacket. Say it in your mind, in English. Go ahead. Try it. Right now. Don't worry about perfect grammar. Don't worry about long sentences. Just name what you see.
Yes. And if you don't know a word, don't panic. That's part of the process. If you see a flower, but you don't know what type it is, just say flower. Keep it simple. And later, when you get curious, you can look it up. And next time, you'll say rose or daisy instead of just flower. That's growth. That's progress.
Right. And here's a pro tip for our listeners. Start small. Don't try to describe everything like a poet. Start with basic sentences like, I see a blue chair. There's a man wearing a hat. The car is driving fast. Once you get comfortable, you can add details. I see a blue chair with metal legs. There's a man wearing a black hat and carrying a red bag. Do you see what's happening? You're building layers of English, step by step.
Yes. And don't worry if it feels strange at first. When I started, I remember thinking, is this even helping? But after a few days, I noticed something amazing. English words were coming to me faster. I was describing things out loud without hesitation. And that's when I realized this works.
Absolutely, Adam. And to our listeners, we challenge you. Start today. Right after this episode, when you go outside or even look around your room, start describing what you see. Even if it's just for 5 minutes. Every small step counts.
That's it. 5 minutes a day can rewire your brain. You don't need more time. You need more consistency. This is how you build fluency. Not in classrooms, but in your everyday life. So, what are you seeing right now? Describe it in English. And get ready, because in the next chapter, we're giving you another exercise, one that will push you even further into thinking like a native speaker. Stay with us. This journey is just getting started. All right, let's move on to exercise number 2. And I'll be honest, this one is a bit funny, but it's also one of the most effective tools I've ever used to improve my fluency. It's called Talk to Yourself in English. Now, before you laugh and think, Adam, you want me to talk to myself like a crazy person? Hear me out. Because this is a secret weapon that so many confident English speakers use, but nobody talks about it. Sophia, I know this exercise changed the game for you too, right?
Oh, absolutely, Adam. And I totally get it. The first time I tried this, I felt ridiculous. I remember standing in my kitchen, stirring my coffee and saying out loud, "Okay, I'm making coffee. Now I'm adding sugar. I'm stirring it. It smells good." And I thought, what am I doing? I sound like a TV narrator. But guess what? It worked, and it worked fast. Because when you start talking to yourself, out loud or even in your head, you force your brain to think in English in real time. There's no hiding. There's no translation, it's just you and English.
Yes, and I want every listener to know this. It's not silly, it's smart. Think about it. You're practicing English. Whenever you want, wherever you want. No partner needed, no teacher, just you and your thoughts. So imagine you're getting ready in the morning. You're brushing your teeth, getting dressed, making breakfast. Instead of letting your mind wander, start narrating your actions in English. Say things like, I'm brushing my teeth. The water is cold. I'm wearing my blue shirt today. It sounds simple, right? But what you're doing is building fluency, sentence by sentence, thought by thought.
Exactly, Adam. And it doesn't have to stop at actions. Talk about your plans. Talk about your feelings. Talk about your goals. For example, when I'm walking to work, I might say in my head, "Okay, I have a meeting today. I hope it goes well. After work, I'll meet my friend for coffee." Or if I'm feeling tired, I might say, "I'm a bit tired today. Maybe I need more sleep. But I'm still excited for this podcast." See? It's real. It's personal. It's your life. In English. And that's when English starts becoming part of you. It's no longer a school subject. It becomes your inner voice.
Oh, I love that. English becomes your inner voice. That's powerful. And hey, let's be honest. Talking to yourself is kind of fun once you get past the awkward feeling. Sure, if someone hears you in the supermarket talking to the vegetables, they might think you're a little strange. But you'll be the one speaking fluent English next year, so who cares? You're doing this for you. And the truth is, nobody cares as much as you think.
Exactly. And for our listeners, start small. You don't have to give a speech to your toothbrush. Just start with 1 minute a day. When you're making breakfast, talk about it. When you're getting ready for work, say what you're doing. When you're walking home, describe your thoughts. And if you're not comfortable talking out loud, do it in your mind. It still works.
Yes, and don't worry about being perfect. If you don't know a word, just skip it or describe it. For example, if you don't know the word frying pan, just say, the thing I cook eggs in. That's okay, because the goal is not perfection. The goal is fluency. The goal is to think faster and speak with ease. And every time you talk to yourself in English, you're getting closer to that goal.
Absolutely, Adam. So, here's the challenge for our listeners. Talk to yourself in English today. Pick one activity, maybe making coffee or getting dressed, and narrate it in English. Out loud or in your head, just do it. Feel the difference. Because this is how you train your brain. Not just to understand English, but to think in it.
That's it. No excuses. You don't need a partner. You don't need a classroom. You just need you. your thoughts, your voice, and English. And trust us, this is the path to fluency. So, start today. And in the next chapter, we'll show you another powerful exercise, one that's already in your pocket, and you might not even realize it. Stay with us. This is your journey to thinking in English like a native.
Okay, let's move on to exercise number 3. And honestly, this one is a game changer. It's so simple, but it has a huge impact on the way you think in English. Here it is. Change your phone, your apps, your social media, everything, to English. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Wait, what? My whole phone? Won't I get confused? Trust me, I thought the same thing at first, but this small change can completely transform your relationship with English, and you'll barely feel like you're studying. You'll be learning English every single time you unlock your phone. And we all know how often we do that, right?
Oh, absolutely, Sophia. Let's be honest. How many times do you check your phone every day? 50 times? 100 times? I mean, we're all addicted, scrolling Instagram, texting, checking WhatsApp, watching TikToks. So, why not turn that habit into an English lesson? Think about it. Every time you open your phone, instead of seeing Configuration or Instellningar or whatever it is in your native language, you'll see Settings. Instead of Mensajes, you'll see Messages. Your notifications will be in English, and without even realizing it, you'll be absorbing English through the things you already do every day.
Exactly, Adam. And to everyone listening, let me tell you how this helped me personally. When I was learning English, I switched my phone to English, and at first, I was a little nervous. I thought, what if I don't understand something? What if I accidentally delete everything? But guess what? I didn't delete anything, and I got better at English. Suddenly, words like update, download, reply, notification, they became normal for me. I wasn't memorizing them from a book. I was seeing them every day, and my brain just got used to them.
Yes, Sophia. And that's the beauty of this exercise. You're not forcing yourself to memorize anything. You're creating an environment where English is part of your daily life. It's natural learning. And that's what fluency is all about, using English every day, without thinking of it as studying.
Now, I know some of you might be nervous about this. You might be thinking, what if I don't understand something important? Let me tell you, most things are easy to figure out. Icons are the same everywhere. The little gear means settings. The camera icon is the camera. And if you really get stuck, you can always switch back to your language for a moment, then switch it back to English. But trust me, after just a few days, you'll start feeling comfortable. And after a few weeks, you'll forget you were ever worried.
Yes. And I want to challenge our listeners right now. After this episode, go to your phone settings and change the language to English. Right now. Don't wait. Do it today. It'll feel weird at first, but that's how you grow. And every time you check your phone, you'll be giving your brain more English input without even trying.
Exactly, Adam. And what's amazing is that this change helps you in the long run. When you travel or when you work with international teams, everything is in English. Emails, apps, systems. So, getting used to English on your phone now will prepare you for those real-life situations later. You'll feel confident, and that's the goal. Confidence with English, every single day.
That's it. Confidence comes from familiarity. The more you see English, the more normal it becomes. So, don't wait. Switch your phone, change your apps, let English be part of your world, and get ready, because in the next chapter, we're going to unlock another powerful exercise, one that will help you train your brain before you sleep. Stay with us. This journey is just getting started. All right, let's move into exercise number 4. And I have to say, this one is personal for me. This is something I've done for years, and I can tell you, it made a huge difference in my fluency and confidence. It's simple, but powerful. Think in English before you sleep. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, really, Adam? English at bedtime? Can't I just relax? But trust me on this. This is not work. This is mental relaxation in English. And it trains your brain in a way that few other exercises can.
Yes, Adam, and I love this one too. Think about it, listeners. Right before you sleep, your mind is naturally reflecting on your day. You're thinking about what you did, who you met, what made you happy, maybe what stressed you out. So, why not do it in English? You're not adding extra work. You're simply changing the language in which you reflect. For example, you might say to yourself, "Today I went to work. I had lunch with my friend. We talked about our weekend. It was fun." Simple thoughts, but they're your thoughts, in English, and that's when the magic happens.
Oh, I love that you said magic, Sophia, because that's exactly what it feels like. Let me tell you why this works so well. Your brain is most relaxed before you sleep. You're not forcing it to learn. You're letting it organize your thoughts naturally. And when you do this in English, you're telling your brain, English is part of my life now. English is not just for class or work. It's my thinking language, even at the end of my day. And that shift is powerful. Because the more your brain gets used to organizing your thoughts in English, the easier it becomes to speak fluently during the day.
Yes, Adam, and I remember when I first started doing this, I was a little nervous. I thought, what if I can't form proper sentences? What if I don't know the right words? But here's the thing, it doesn't matter. Nobody is listening. Nobody is judging. This is just you alone with your thoughts. Mistakes are okay. Pauses are okay. If you can't remember a word, you can say it in your language or describe it in English. For example, you can think, I met my friend. I don't know the word for what we ate, but it was something sweet with chocolate. That's okay, because the goal is not perfection. The goal is to think freely in English.
Exactly. And here's a tip that helped me when I started. Don't try to create a perfect story. Just replay your day like a movie in your head, but with English subtitles. You might think, I woke up, I made coffee, I checked my phone, I went to work. I was a little tired, I had a meeting, it was okay. After work, I went for a walk. Simple, relaxed, natural. And the beauty of this is, it's your day, your life. You know the story. So, you're not searching for ideas, you're just putting your experiences into English words.
Yes, and to our listeners, this is something you can do tonight. When you're lying in bed, ready to sleep, try this. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and think about your day, like you always do, but this time in English. If you get stuck, don't worry. Just keep going. Even if you only do this for 2 minutes, it's progress. And every night, it will get easier. Soon, you'll notice that English starts coming naturally, even when you're not trying.
That's it, Sophia. Imagine this, listeners. 6 months from now, you're speaking English confidently. Words are flowing. You're not hesitating. You're not translating. That's the future you're building, every night, just by thinking in English before you sleep. It's not hard. It's not stressful. It's you, winding down and letting English become part of who you are.
Absolutely, Adam. This is how fluency becomes part of your life, not just in the classroom, but in your thoughts, your quiet moments. So, tonight, try it. Think in English before you sleep, and take one more step toward becoming a fluent, confident English speaker.
That's right. And in the next chapter, we'll show you another exercise, one that's fun, fast, and will sharpen your vocabulary every time you touch something. Stay with us. You're doing great. This is your journey to thinking in English like a native. Let's keep going.
All right, let's move into exercise number 5, and I'll be honest, this one is actually kind of fun. It's so simple that it almost feels like a game, but the effect it has on your thinking is huge. It's called Name Everything in English. That's it. Just name the objects you touch or see around you, in English. It sounds basic, right? But this little trick can speed up the way your brain connects English words to the real world. And honestly, Adam, when I started doing this, I was surprised at how fast it started working.
Oh, Sophia, I had the same experience. I thought, this is too simple. How can this help me? But let me tell you, listeners, don't underestimate this one. This exercise trains your brain for fluency in real-life situations. Think about it. When you pick up your phone, say, phone. When you grab your keys, say, keys. When you pour water into a glass, say, glass. Even if you just say it in your mind, it's like you're building a mini dictionary in your brain.
Exactly, Adam. And the reason this works so well is because it connects the language to your real-world actions. You're not just memorizing words from a book, you're touching the object, seeing it, and saying its name in English, all at the same time. This physical connection helps your brain remember the word faster and better. So instead of thinking, what's the English word for this? Your brain will start recognizing objects as their English names automatically. You'll touch your phone and instantly think phone. You'll grab a spoon and your mind will say spoon. That's when you know you're starting to think in English like a native.
Yes, Sophia. And listeners, this becomes a habit quickly. At first, you might need to remind yourself to name things, but after a few days, it becomes automatic. You'll pick up your wallet and think, wallet. You'll open your fridge and say, milk, eggs, orange juice. And suddenly, you're thinking in English without even trying. That's fluency training, in your kitchen, in your car, at your desk, everywhere.
Exactly, Adam. And here's a tip for everyone listening. Start with the things you use every day. Your phone, your keys, your shoes, your bag, your coffee cup. These are the objects you touch every single day. So start with those. Say their names every time you touch them. Phone, wallet, coffee, door, laptop, bag, shoes, keys. You'll be amazed how quickly those words become part of your natural thinking.
Oh, and let's turn this into a little game. Challenge yourself. How many things can you name in English before you leave your house? When you wake up tomorrow, try this. Name every single thing you touch until you walk out the door. Bed, pillow, blanket, toothbrush, mirror, towel, socks, shoes, door, keys, phone. See how many you can name. And if you don't know a word, no problem. Look it up once, and you'll probably never forget it again, because you'll touch that object every day.
Yes, exactly, Adam. And listeners, this is what fluency looks like. It's not about memorizing thousands of words from a book. It's about connecting English to your daily life so that your brain starts seeing the world in English. When that happens, you'll notice your speaking gets faster, your confidence grows, and you'll feel like English is becoming a natural part of you.
Absolutely, Sophia. So let's challenge everyone listening right now. For the next 24 hours, every time you pick something up, name it in English. Don't skip anything. Make it a fun mental game. And if you get stuck, look it up, learn it, and keep going. Because every small word you learn this way is a step toward fluency.
That's right. Every small action counts. This is your journey to fluency, and it's happening right now. So start today. Name everything you touch, and feel your brain start thinking in English, faster and more naturally every day.
Okay, English learners, let's turn up the heat now. This next exercise, exercise number 6, is one that completely shifted the way I thought in English when I was learning a second language. I'm talking about narrating your actions like a story. Now, before you say, Adam, what do you mean? Like I'm a TV presenter narrating my life? Yes, exactly. Think about those nature documentaries. You know, the ones where the narrator says, the lion slowly moves through the grass, searching for its prey. Well, in this exercise, you are the lion, you are the main character, and your life is the documentary. Every action you take, you describe it in English, like you're telling a story. I'm opening the fridge. I'm reaching for the milk. I'm pouring it into a glass. The coffee is hot. It smells good. I know. It sounds so simple, right? But let me tell you why this exercise is so incredibly powerful. It forces your brain to stay in English every second. You're thinking as you're doing. You're forming sentences in real time. There's no time to translate. And that's exactly what fluency is. It's being able to form sentences naturally without stopping to think.
Oh, Adam, I love this one because this exercise literally changed how I function in English. I remember when I first started learning English, I would freeze in conversations. I knew the words, but when someone asked me a question, I couldn't get the sentence out fast enough. Why? Because I was translating from my native language in my head. But when I started narrating my day in English, everything shifted. I was washing the dishes and thinking, I'm washing a plate, I'm rinsing the glass. I was getting ready in the morning and saying to myself, I'm putting on my shoes, I'm picking up my bag, I'm leaving the house. And something clicked. Suddenly, English wasn't this foreign thing anymore. It became the language my brain used for daily life. And when you reach that point, speaking becomes so much easier. Because you're not preparing for English, you're living in English.
Yes. And listeners, I want you to imagine this right now. Picture yourself tomorrow morning. You wake up and instead of just going through your routine, you narrate it. You open your eyes. I'm waking up. It's cold. I don't want to get up. You go to the bathroom. I'm brushing my teeth. The water is cold. I'm washing my face. You make breakfast. I'm frying eggs. The pan is hot. I'm pouring coffee. Do you see what's happening? You're not memorizing English. You're living it. You're not studying. You're thinking in English. And that's when the magic starts to happen.
Yes, Adam. And I know some listeners might be thinking, but what if I don't know the words? That's okay. That's normal. When I started, there were so many things I didn't know how to say. One time I was cooking, and I didn't know the word for spatula, so I said, I'm using the thing to turn my eggs. And that's fine, because fluency isn't knowing every word, it's knowing how to keep talking, even when you don't know the word. It's finding your way around the problem. And the more you narrate your actions, the more your brain gets used to doing this naturally.
Exactly, Sophia. And this is the key that so many learners miss. Fluency isn't perfection. Fluency is flow. It's keeping your thoughts moving in English without stopping every time you don't know a word. And when you narrate your day, you train your brain to do that. You practice forming sentences, describing things, solving little vocabulary problems, all in real time. And when you get into a real conversation, it's so much easier because your brain is already trained.
Yes, Adam. And to everyone listening, start small. You don't need to narrate your whole day. Pick one activity, just 5 minutes. Maybe when you're making coffee, or brushing your teeth, or cleaning your room. Talk to yourself, out loud if you can, or in your mind if you prefer. Say things like, I'm sweeping the floor. It's dusty. I need to wash this cup. The water is warm. Simple sentences, but they build fluency. And the best part? You're doing it while living your normal life. No extra study time needed.
Yes! And I promise you this, if you do this every day, even for just a few minutes, your brain will change. You will start thinking in English naturally. You will speak faster and more confidently because you've trained your brain to create sentences in real time, not in a classroom, but while living your life. So, here's your challenge, listeners. Today, narrate one part of your day. Just 5 minutes. Describe everything you do like you're telling a story in English, and feel your brain start to change.
That's it. Narrate your day. Turn your life into an English story. Because fluency is not about being perfect. It's about making English part of your daily life. And when you do that, you're not just learning a language, you're transforming the way you think. All right, English learners, we've made it to exercise number 7, and I have to say this one is my personal favourite because it's so much fun, but also super effective. It's called What If Scenarios, and it's all about using your imagination to train your brain to think in English. Now, I know you might be thinking, wait, Sophia, what does imagination have to do with fluency? Trust me, everything. Because this exercise pushes your brain to create sentences quickly, to explore new ideas, and to think in English, even when you don't have all the answers. It's like a mental gym for your English fluency.
Oh, Sophia, I love this one too. And let me paint a picture for our listeners so you can see exactly how this works. Imagine you're walking down the street and you suddenly think, what if I got lost right now? Or, what if I met my favorite celebrity? Or even something totally wild like, what if I won $1,000,000 tomorrow? What would you do? What would you say? And here's the magic. When you start imagining these scenarios in English, your brain starts forming complete thoughts and sentences, without you even realizing you're practicing.
Exactly, Adam. And what's so powerful about this exercise is that it's endless. You can practice it anytime, anywhere. You don't need a textbook, you don't need Wi-Fi. All you need is your imagination and English. And it's actually so enjoyable. When I started doing this, I realized how often my mind was just wandering, thinking about nothing or stressing about work. But then I thought, why not turn that mental time into English practice? So I started asking myself what-if questions. What if I had to give a speech at an important event tomorrow? What if I got a job offer in London? What if someone asked me for directions in English? And suddenly, my mind was creating stories in English. I was forming sentences, imagining conversations, and pushing my vocabulary, all without pressure.
Oh, Sophia, that's so good. And for our listeners, this exercise is not just fun, it's practical. Because life is full of unexpected situations. One day, you might actually get lost in a new city, and you'll need to ask for help in English. Or, you might meet someone famous, and you'll need to hold a quick, confident conversation. And because you've already imagined it, you'll be ready. Your brain will know what to say, because you've rehearsed it in your mind.
Exactly, Adam. And I know some listeners might feel a little shy. What if I imagine something, and I don't know the right words? That's part of the exercise. That's the challenge. If you get stuck, try to describe it with the words you know. If you can't remember the word for umbrella, just say, the thing I use when it rains. That's fluency. Being able to keep talking even when you don't know every word perfectly. And later, you can look up the word you missed. Every time you do this, you grow.
Yes, and here's a simple way to start. Set aside 5 minutes today, just 5 minutes. Sit quietly or go for a walk and ask yourself a few what-if questions. Start with easy ones. What if I was late for work tomorrow? What if I lost my keys? Then try some fun ones. What if I could travel anywhere in the world tomorrow? What if I met my favorite actor in a cafe? And then push yourself with harder ones. What if I had to give a 5-minute speech in English? What if someone asked me about my country's culture? And as you imagine these situations, talk to yourself in English. Describe what you would do, what you would say, how you would feel.
Oh, Adam, that's brilliant. And for our listeners, I want you to go even deeper. When you're imagining these situations, ask yourself follow-up questions. Okay, what if I was lost in New York? Who would I ask for help? What exactly would I say? How would they respond? Imagine the whole conversation. Make it real in your mind, and suddenly, you're not just thinking in English, you're practicing conversations in your head. Anytime, anywhere.
Yes, and this is how you unlock fluency. Not just by memorizing words, but by using English to think, to imagine, to dream. Because when English becomes part of your imagination, it becomes part of you. So, listeners, start today. Ask yourself one what-if question today. Let your mind explore, and watch your fluency grow.
That's it. Turn your imagination into your fluency gym. Dream in English. Create stories in English. Imagine your future in English. Because when you do that, you're not just learning a language, you're building a new version of yourself. a confident, fluent English speaker.
All right, English learners, we've shared 7 powerful exercises with you. Each one, on its own, can help train your brain to think in English like a native. But now, this is where the real magic happens. Because the true key to fluency is not doing just one exercise now and then. It's combining them, seamlessly, into your daily life. So that English is not something you practice for 30 minutes and then forget about. English becomes part of how you live, how you think, every single day. Sophia, you know what I mean, right?
Oh, 100%, Adam. This is the shift that took me from studying English to actually living English. I remember the moment I realized I don't need to find extra time to practice. My day is already full of opportunities. When I was on the bus, I described what I saw. When I was cooking dinner, I narrated my actions. I'm chopping onions. I'm frying vegetables. Oh, I'm crying because of the onions. And then, before bed, I thought about my day in English. It all started blending together, naturally. And that's when I noticed English wasn't just something I studied. It became how I thought. It became part of my life.
Yes. Listeners, this is the goal. We don't want you to just practice English for 10 minutes and then go back to your native language for the rest of the day. We want English to be with you, on the bus, in the kitchen, when you're texting your friends, even in your quiet moments before sleep. It's about weaving these small exercises into your life so that your brain is constantly working in English. Not in a stressful way, but naturally, effortlessly.
Exactly, Adam. And this is how you can do it. Let's say you're getting ready in the morning. Narrate your actions like a story. When you leave your house and walk to work, describe what you see in English. While you're waiting in line for coffee, ask yourself a what-if question. What if I spilled my coffee right now? When you check your phone, it's in English, so you're seeing the language all the time. At lunch, maybe you talk to yourself quietly about your plans for the afternoon, in English. And before you sleep, you reflect on your day, in English. See how it fits together? It's not extra study time. It's your life, but in English.
Yes, and listeners, don't worry about being perfect. This is not a test. There are no grades. If you get stuck, if you forget a word, that's okay. Keep going. The goal is not perfection. The goal is consistency, because fluency is built through small daily actions.
Right, Adam. Even 10 or 15 minutes spread across your day can make a difference. You don't need 2 hours. You need small, regular habits. Because every time you think in English, even for 30 seconds, you're training your brain. You're building fluency, brick by brick.
Exactly. And think about this, listeners. Imagine yourself 6 months from now. You're having a conversation in English. You're not translating. You're speaking freely. You're confident. You're fluent. That's the future you're building, every time you do these exercises.
Yes. So, start today. Combine these exercises into your day. Describe what you see on the bus. Narrate your actions while cooking. Talk to yourself while getting ready. Ask what-if questions when you're bored. Think in English before you sleep. Make English part of your life and watch your fluency transform. Exactly, start today. Describe what you see, talk to yourself, think in English before bed, whatever works for you. The goal is progress, not perfection. And remember, we're here with you every step of the way. That's it. Keep practicing, keep thinking in English, and we'll see you next time.
Take care. Happy thinking in English. Thank you.